Hi there, welcome back to another episode of the Profit Pillar Show. I'm your host, Parker Stevenson, CEO of Evolve Finance and author of the book, Profit Pillars. Today, we are asking the question, what should you look for when hiring a bookkeeper? And we covered this already on the tax accountant side of things. What should you look for? Please know that just like I said in the other episode about tax accountants, I go into detail about all this stuff in my book, Profit Pillars. There's a whole chapter that helps you think about and know what questions to ask and what to consider when hiring really your full financial support team for your business. But today we're just going to talk a little bit about some of the things you should be thinking about or questions you should be asking when hiring a bookkeeper. So let's start here because I think it's important for us to all be on the same page around what should a bookkeeper be doing for your business. And historically, bookkeepers have done a lot of different things. It is of our opinion, though, a bookkeeper for an online business or a modern small business should be focused on data reconciliation and management. The bookkeeper that works with your business should be an expert at taking all the financial transactions that happen in your business accounts, get them into bookkeeping software like QuickBooks Online, and organize that data, reconcile that data, which means ensure that there's no missing or duplicate transactions, that everything's accurate, and then present this organized, categorized data to you as the business owner in a way that makes sense and allows you to understand what's going on with the financial health of your business, while also giving your accountant the data they need to accurately file your taxes. Bookkeepers nowadays are really financial data experts. They organize the data, they categorize the data, and then they present that data to you as the business owner so you can understand what's going on with your business. Now, some bookkeepers will manage bills and send out invoices and do what we would call internal financial operations work. We're not big fans of bookkeepers doing that for small businesses because it tends to not be cost effective. I understand it might be convenient, but I talk more about it in the book, and maybe we'll talk more about it in another episode of the podcast. But ultimately, there's only really so many financial tasks that take real financial expertise, at least for online businesses and modern small businesses. A lot of things that people might think a bookkeeper should be doing are actually more administrative in nature, and you can pay an administrative person less money to handle some of these things than a bookkeeper. Or an administrative person or an internal team member might have more context and more understanding of what's going on in the day-to-day aspects of the business to manage something like sending out invoices or following up on payments with clients or even paying bills. So that's why for us, at Evolve Finance, we're so focused on the data management and the data presentation, aka reporting, because that does take financial knowledge and financial skill and a financial perspective, which is why our service focuses more on that. That's also the most important thing happening in your business financially, because if the financial data isn't accurate and it's not being presented in an understandable way, that has effects on both you as the business owner and your accountant. If that part isn't rock solid, then it doesn't matter how good they are at sending invoices or paying bills or running payroll. If the bookkeeping sucks, then all that other extra stuff isn't going to matter as much. So that's why we're big believers that your bookkeeper, at least for an online business or a modern small business, there needs to be a focus on how good are they at reconciling, categorizing, and presenting that data to you and your accountant as well. So does your bookkeeper need to be in your state? No. We've talked about this on the tax side a little bit. There's certain situations where, yeah, it might be nice for your accountant to be in your state that you reside in or your business resides in, but it's really not as important as it used to be. Bookkeeping, it's even less important. Bookkeeping is bookkeeping no matter what state you're in. For the most part, there might be a few caveats there, but typically, if you can have a larger pool of bookkeepers to choose from to get better talent, and it just so happens you find someone like Evolve Finance where we're registered in California, but we have team members all over the country. We have clients all over the country. Like, we can serve anybody. there's not a lot of reason to think, oh, I need someone in my state, when especially there's more firms like us that have the ability to serve anyone in the continental United States. So what does your bookkeeper need any certifications? When it comes to taxes, a CPA, an enrolled agent, you do want your accountant or your tax accountant to be certified, so to speak, around filing taxes. They've gone through schooling, they've passed tests, because there's so much to know about taxes, and there can be some real consequences to your accountant screwing up your tax situation that the government tries to create these certifications. Well, not tries. They do provide these certifications so the general public can have some confidence that the accountants that they're working with actually understand how to file taxes. Bookkeeping's different. There isn't any commonly used certification that makes a bookkeeper better than another bookkeeper. There's just there's almost like too much bookkeeping knowledge to be able to comprehend and put into action, because there's so many different businesses with so many different financial setups. Some businesses have inventory. Some businesses deal with manufacturing and raw goods. Some businesses don't deal with any of that. Some are super high invoice businesses. Some businesses need like project cost tracking. Like, there's so much to know as a bookkeeper that really there needs to be some sort of specialization with your bookkeeper. That tends to be more useful than them being QuickBooks certified or something like that. Certifications don't hurt anything, but at the end of the day, is your bookkeeper experienced? Do they have a perspective? Do they understand your business model? Do they have a lot of experience with your business model? Do they have testimonials? Do they have happy clients? That matters more than any certification that they hold. Now, how much should you pay for a bookkeeper? This is something we mentioned on the tax accounting side in that episode. Similar deal here. When your business is small, you can hire a budget bookkeeper, because your business isn't going to have enough complexity, at least very likely that your business isn't going to have very much complexity, that a budget or cheap bookkeeper is going to screw anything up. And we're talking about, when I think about a budget bookkeeper, I really think about anything less than $300. But the larger your business becomes, the more you want to pay for a better experience and to pay for more expertise and pay for a quality service. Because while I mentioned just a little bit ago, you can get a lot of trouble if your tax accountant messes something up and they're not on the ball. There is a little bit of that on the bookkeeping side too. The amount of bookkeeping files we've inherited from other bookkeepers that are absolute disasters can cause a tremendous amount of stress, frustration, and even issues on the tax side when you're paying for what you get, right? You pay for what you get in terms of paying a budget bookkeeper to manage the bookkeeping for a more established, higher revenue business. So just like as your business grows, you want a better accountant so they can save you more on taxes and hopefully make less mistakes. Just like when your business grows, you want to pay for a better lawyer that understands how to handle more of the issues that your business is going to deal with. That said, I think when you start a business, you need to hire a tax accountant right away. Like, you just go, I'm starting a business. I know I'm going to have the cost of paying an accountant. That's just part of the cost of doing business. For bookkeeping, you can do the bookkeeping yourself initially when your business is smaller and there's not a lot of transactions going on. That obviously saves you some money. But I think it's important to know that, number one, I don't think you should be trying to learn how to use you shouldn't be learning how to use bookkeeping software, at least at this stage. I've seen business owners absolutely screw up their books because they listened to QuickBooks Online's marketing and said, oh, business owner, you can do your own books. But there's too much accounting knowledge that goes into place to doing your own bookkeeping that you're better off just using a spreadsheet. And we actually offer a spreadsheet template on our website at evolvefinance.com. If you feel like, hey, my business is small, I can't afford a bookkeeper, I'm going to do this myself. Great, use our spreadsheet. And there's all kinds of reasons why I think you should. Go to evolvefinance.com and find our learn page so you can see the different financial spreadsheets that we sell on our website. But you can just open a spreadsheet up, track your income and expenses there. And that's fine in the early stages. But eventually there's going to be, I hope eventually, because it means your business is growing and you're making money, that there's enough financial transactions going on that now you need this to be more official. You need it in QuickBooks Online. Now it's time to hire a bookkeeper. And as your bookkeeper grows, or as your business grows, your bookkeeper, you should upgrade your bookkeeper as well, just like an accountant or a lawyer. And it wouldn't be ridiculous to be paying $1,000 to $2,000 a month for bookkeeping, depending on the size of your business and the financial complexity of your business. But there is a commoditization of bookkeeping in in the business space where it's like, all bookkeeping's the same. And I'm just going to find the cheapest bookkeeper I can. And talk to any business owner that has a real business that's making real money, who paid a cheap bookkeeper and only looked at bookkeeping from a cost standpoint, and ask them how much they pay for bookkeeping now, because I can almost guarantee you they are not working with a budget bookkeeper anymore. And I do think it's important to understand that a lot of accounting firms are outsourcing bookkeeping overseas or overusing AI. And while I have nothing against someone overseas there's smart people everywhere in the world who know accounting stuff. And while AI has been a game changer for the business world, use those at your own risk. We'll probably have another episode about accounting firms with overseas teams or overusing AI. That's a whole nother conversation. But just know that if you're paying less than $300 a month, it might be because the firm is over leveraging AI or over leveraging overseas teams. And that usually means you're going to get a very low quality product. But a conversation for another day. Now, what should be included in my bookkeeping service? We kind of already talked about this, but your bookkeeper shouldn't just be categorizing transactions. They should be reconciling transactions. And especially like we use QuickBooks Online, there is a reconciliation process that allows our bookkeepers to ensure there are no duplicate or missing transactions. And I know what business owners think. You just connect it. You connect the bank accounts to the bookkeeping software directly. Like, well, how is that a process? Why is that a thing I need to worry about? Because software is not infallible. Because QuickBooks has issues, Xero has issues, your banks and credit cards have issues, transactions get skipped, they get duplicated. And also bookkeepers, if they're cutting corners, they're making a lot of journal entries, making a lot of adjustments to try to reconcile things. That can screw up things even more. So it is important that you talk to your bookkeeper. And we talk about this in the book, Profit Pillars. Are you reconciling my data, and what does reconciliation mean to you and your firm? Now, another big component here is your bookkeeper should be providing you with monthly report delivery. Now, this can vary greatly. There's some bookkeepers that go, you got access to your QuickBooks account, you go look it up. I'm not sending you anything. Then there's some bookkeepers who will just simply send you a couple reports out of QuickBooks, which is fine. It's better than most, but it's sporadic or you're not getting much at all. Or if you are getting it every month, the reports look like crap because of either the way they're categorizing the data or because they don't have a good chart of accounts template. But also, they're not using maybe any dashboard software, or they're not going beyond QuickBooks to use other tools out there to better present the data to you. Now, at Evolve Finance, we have a very clear perspective on how we think financial data should be presented. It's called our Profit Pillar system. It's what this podcast is called. It's what our book is called, Profit Pillars, right? So we go above and beyond in this regard, because we do give our clients these dashboards that present key metrics to them, and it is through the lens of our Profit Pillars. So you can't necessarily expect that from other bookkeepers to any degree, but at the very least, it's important for you to understand when you're looking for a bookkeeper, like, how should I expect you to present my data? And at its core, just the way they categorize your transactions, the way they set up your chart of accounts can make a huge difference in your ability as the business owner to be able to have any chance of understanding and being able to translate what those numbers on your profit and loss, on your balance sheet, what they're telling you about your business and if it's going to actually help you make decisions or actually avoid your numbers even more, because all it does is confuse you and intimidate you. So that's a really, I think, big deal, because I think especially as the online business and modern small business space gets more competitive and these businesses get more expensive to run, that as a business owner of a business like this, you have to be more financially literate. And if your bookkeeper is not delivering reports to you in a way you can understand, that's going to be a disadvantage for you. And at this point, we need every advantage we can get as entrepreneurs in the online space. Now, what's your bookkeeper's security protocols? This is a big one. The amount of security breaches each year from massive corporations is wild. It's absolutely wild. And so this is another component of working with maybe budget-oriented bookkeepers. What are their security protocols? How are they keeping your data safe? What are the measures they're taking? Are they really even taking that many measures to take your data seriously? Again, probably a whole nother episode we could go into this, but I know at Evolve Finance, we have a whole security protocol document that we use with our team that we share with our clients so they understand how we do this. And I don't think a lot of bookkeepers, really accountants, are taking this as seriously as they should or go as far with it as they should. But I'm biased here, but as a customer of an accounting firm, I do think it's really important that you understand what measures are they taking to keep your financial data or business and personal data safe, right? If they're filing your taxes, they're going to have your social security number, your business EIN, all this stuff. How are they keeping that safe? Now, how much involvement is needed from you in terms of the bookkeeping processes every single month? Because there are some bookkeeping firms, again, they might be a budget bookkeeping firm, and the reason their prices are so cheap is because they're essentially making you categorize everything every month. And honestly, if you're going to hire a bookkeeper, it should be removing tasks from your plate and your team's plate, not just not adding more or giving you stuff that you shouldn't have to be doing. So for instance, at Evolve Finance, we try to keep our clients' involvement to a minimum, but we still need client involvement. And so what I think is reasonable to expect as a business owner is needing to be in communication with your bookkeeping team around just logins, making sure that they can get into the accounts they need to get into in order to properly reconcile and account for all the financial transactions in your business. So if your bookkeeper loses connection to something, being available to help them get that connection back, I think is completely reasonable. And then the second piece is just helping them to, helping your bookkeeper to understand what transactions were for. That doesn't mean you go in and categorize them, but like if your bookkeeper has questions about, hey, I'm categorizing your transactions. These transactions came up. I'm not sure what they're for. Can you give us a little more context so we can put those in the right place on your P&L? Great. Like that's reasonable. And I think the more engaged you are with helping your bookkeeping team with the categorization process, just giving them the information they need to make better categorization decisions. Number one, in the long run, the less you're going to have to go to them in the future because they're going to learn, make rules in their bookkeeping software so that they're not asking you for the same things over and over again. But also just your books are going to be more accurate from at least a categorization standpoint, if you stay engaged with that. Otherwise, your bookkeeper is going to have to make their own guesses around things, which I guess reduces your time and involvement as the business owner doing it, but your books are going to be less accurate and you're not going to get as much analytical detail from them. Now, does your bookkeeper seem organized? This is an important question to ask. Getting a sense for if your bookkeeper is using software, has good systems and processes, there's a flow to how the service works, so you're not the one following up. Do they follow up with you? Are they being proactive? This is something that I think is really important because a lot of times bookkeepers and really accountants just go, let me just do my work. You don't understand what I'm doing. Leave me alone and let me do it. But I don't think that's fair to you as the business owner. There should be some transparency around how they get their work done, and they should be taking the lead. You shouldn't be asking what happens next as with any service provider you work with, you're paying them to be an expert, and they should be the ones leading the charge and letting you know what they need or letting you know what's going to happen next. You shouldn't be asking for all that. And so I think when you're talking to bookkeepers, asking them, what technology are you using? How do you stay organized? What are your systems for getting the work done every month? Is completely reasonable questions to be asking. Because if they're on the ball, that means you're going to get more bang for your buck, because it means less involvement from you, less follow-up, less stress, and that is worth something. Now, how responsive are they? This kind of ties into how organized do they seem, because a lot of the times if they are organized, they'll be more responsive. The less organized they are, the more that your bookkeeper is probably going to, it's just going to take too long for them to respond to you, because they're going to be busy. They're going to be swamped because they're not organized, or they're just going to be swamped. Even if they are organized, if they have too many clients and not enough support team to get the work done, then it's going to take them forever to get back to you. It's the same side on the same thing on the tax side as well. If they're taking on a ton of clients during tax season and you have questions, if they don't have a good ratio of accountant to clients, then you're probably not going to get very quick responses from them, especially if you're paying for a budget experience. So getting a sense for like, how much are we going to interact? How quickly do you get back to emails? Is not unreasonable to ask that. How do they collaborate with your accountant? Because your bookkeeper should not be the same person filing your taxes. So whether your bookkeeper is with your tax firm, how do they keep the tax team up to date and aware of what's going on with the books? But especially if your tax team is separate from your bookkeeper, how do they facilitate that transition? Because I don't think it's fair for you as the business owner to have to be the middle person. Your bookkeeper should really be taking the lead and going, hey, tax team, we're good to go. Got all their stuff ready. Take it from here. And then lastly, should your tax accountant be your bookkeeper? Well, I kind of just answered that. I don't think so. I think it's really important that your bookkeeping team focuses just on bookkeeping. Your tax team focuses just on the tax side. Taxes are a big enough beast on their own, and good bookkeeping is a big enough beast on its own, that you want those level of expertises separate. It doesn't mean they can't work for the same firm, but you really want those people focused on their areas of skill and expertise, not trying to do too much all at the same time. So that's what I got for y'all. That's what we're going to answer today. We could probably have a whole nother hour conversation around what to look for with a bookkeeper. But this is a really good starting point. Like I said, you can check out more of what I'm talking about here in my book, Profit Pillars. Again, there's a whole chapter on it. But also, if you are looking for a better bookkeeping experience, whether you're upgrading from doing the books yourself or a more budget bookkeeper, and you want to work with what I think is the best bookkeeping team in the country, then go to volfinance.com. Check us out. A lot of our clients that work with us for years, because the experience is so solid, and all the questions that we just went through in this podcast episode, we can answer them, and we can answer them really well. But hope you're doing well, and I'll see you in the next episode.